So this is Sumer, the music mogul, the caffeine global, the comic man, the astronomic man, and this is the Mad Mouth Show. So today we're going to talk about Chelsea versus Brighton. But before we do that, please like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get all the latest updates. Now, Chelsea have been pretty pathetic last weekend. We know what a shambolic match that was. This is not how Chelsea should be playing, and we need to step it up. In fact, I feel this is Chelsea's worst performance of the season. They were so disgusting with their energy levels. They were not doing anything. They looked tired and weak. And Brighton is not anything less compared to Newcastle. In fact, Brighton has beaten Newcastle in the past. Recently, Newcastle lost to Brighton. So Chelsea really needs to step up their game and do something about it. There's definitely a lack of mentality in Chelsea. The mentality has definitely gone down, and there's no way we can beat Brighton unless we are going to go with the winning mentality. That mentality of Chelsea that we had over the past 2 decades, where winning was everything, has totally gone now, and the players don't know what it is to win. And unfortunately, Todd Bowley is not the kind of owner who's ruthless like Roman was. Roman was a gangster. Once he said that you have to win, the team had to win. There was no two ways about it. We all know what a gangster he was when it came to getting his job done. In fact, even John Obi Mikel, when his father got kidnapped, Roman told him, just give me the word and I'll find your father for you. It just shows what a gangster Roman was. And unfortunately now, that is not the scene, and Todd Bowley is concentrating more on building the academy from ground level so that we are more consistent for a long period of time. That was not the Chelsea that we knew. The Chelsea under Roman was all about winning today, and that's all it was. It was very unheard of that Chelsea would lose a game and there was no remorse about it. Chelsea lost to Newcastle, and we could see Jackson in Sevilla with his ex-teammates laughing and, as though nothing is wrong with the club. But this was not Chelsea before. And this really needs to change, and I don't know how that's going to happen. Todd Bowley really needs to do something about it. When Poch said that the players were really soft, clearly they were very soft. They weren't taking any chances, and they need to be a little more aggressive. They need to take those chances, and yeah, they might make those mistakes, but that's okay. That's how they're going to grow as a team, and that's how they can move forward. They really need to take their chances and be a little more aggressive with their playing. Yeah, you can say that Poch should not be saying this as he himself was banned from the match, but he's not wrong about it. He is right that Chelsea were really soft and they weren't being aggressive in the game. Now Brighton. Let's talk about Brighton. Brighton is one of the best scouting clubs in Premier League. In fact, Chelsea also bought a few players from Brighton, and this basically shows that Brighton has a really good scouting system, and Tony Bloom is basically the mastermind behind this. He knows exactly how to get the scouting done brilliantly. Each year they are producing such amazing talented players that they get sold for a lot of money, and that's how they make all their money. In fact, Brighton not only scout good players, but they also scout good managers, as Graham Potter, who was an ex-Chelsea manager who was from Brighton. And a lot of staff that Chelsea also hired from Brighton are really good, and unfortunately they have not been as successful as they were in Brighton, but I guess it's going to take some time, and we'll get there hopefully soon. In Brighton, they also have really good players who are leaders like Lallana, Milner and Welbeck. They also help all the young talent and basically guide them through the whole Premier League season. And now they're also in Europa, so they guide them really well. It's so important to have leaders. This is something that Chelsea definitely lacks, as we are a very young squad. But we can't give excuses. We have to step up and do a good job. Now, De Zerbi last year had Caicedo and Levi Colwill and McAllister, who all have left the club, and they're playing in different clubs. So Brighton definitely lacked all those players. They were key players for Brighton, but De Zerbi has worked with whatever he's got. So now he doesn't play a number 10. He plays Ferguson, Mitoma, Pedro and Ansu Fati. And these four on the top attacking have really helped Brighton and they've really done a good job. So Brighton cannot be taken lightly. They are a really good team and they deserve all the credit. And a lot of credit should also go to Tony Bloom, who's the owner and the chairperson behind the whole squad. Now, let's move on to the lineups. But before we do that, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so that you get all the further updates. So in goal, it has to be Sanchez, as he has been doing pretty well for us and he's going to keep his spot. I don't see any reason for him not being at the goal. Yeah, he has made a few errors, but I'll still stick with Sanchez in the goal. Now in defense, I think Disasi has to come back, and we kind of missed him in the last game, so I would like him to come back. And Thiago Silva still keeps his spot. Even though he's made that blunder, I'll still stick with Thiago, as he is very experienced, and just because of one mistake, I don't think I'm going to give him so much stick. So Disasi and Thiago as both the centre backs. And now let's move on to our right back. As we all know, Reece has been suspended for the next game, so Malo Gusto should come and replace him. And he's been pretty good for us. Let's not forget that he's also done a good job. He's obviously not as good as Reece is probably the best right back in the world right now. So Malo Gusto on as right back. And as left back, I don't think I'm going to put Cucurella. It has to be Levi Colwill. And even though he had a few fuck-ups in his previous games as a left back, but he's going to come and step up and prove everybody wrong. So Levi Colwill is going to be as a left back. Now let's move on to the midfield. In the midfield, I feel all of them were pretty pathetic last game. And yeah, we can say that Enzo was probably tired from his travels and all. And Connor really didn't do too much. And Caicedo came on much later as he also had just travelled. So we can make those excuses, but even at Newcastle, Bruno had just come back. But he still put in a good performance. So they cannot be excused for that. But hopefully this time our midfield three is going to do a good job. And they should dominate the midfield as they did against all the other big clubs. Now up front, the forward line, I think I'm going to make a few changes. And I'm not going to put Jackson this time, as I don't think he deserves to be there. Because you can't lose the game and then go the very next day to your ex-club and be smiling on camera with your teammates. That is not acceptable at Chelsea. So I'm going to drop Jackson and put Broja. Broja should now step up and prove what he is. He really needs to do his best and provide for the club. And Broja, if you see, he's very good with hold-up play and he bullies the defenders pretty well. So I feel Broja is going to do a good job. Now Sterling and Palmer are both going to keep their spots, as they've been pretty good in the last few games, and a few fuck-ups here and there is not going to change their spot. Maybe we could drop Sterling and give him a rest and put Modric in, but I don't think we should do that right now. Let Sterling keep his spot and let's see what happens. Now another positive thing we know is that Nkunku could come back. Nkunku and maybe Lavia could also feature in this game. So if that happens, it's really going to be good for Chelsea. Because even if Nkunku comes on for like 10 minutes, we know what he is. He can completely change the dynamics of the game, and you never know, he might just create a few goals, and that could be a good boost for Chelsea. So that is one positive thing going forward with the Brighton game, is that Nkunku and Lavia could also return. Now my prediction for this match is going to be Chelsea 2 and Brighton 1. And I feel Broja is going to score 1 goal. And I feel if Nkunku comes on, he is going to score 1 goal. And for Brighton, I feel Evans is going to score 1 goal. He's been really good. He could cause us problems. So this is my lineup for Chelsea versus Brighton. Now before we end this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so that you are up to date with all the videos. Okay, adios guys.